I predict that in 10 years from now, there will be one new product that is Apple's highest selling product, maybe even the only product that they sell. That's right, no more iPhone, no more iPad, no more MacBook. In a decade from now, everyone is going to look like this. And no, that's not as normal as you think it looks, because if you zoom in, you'll realize that the product that she's wearing is actually this. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's no such product. Apple never released anything called the Apple Spectacles or the Apple Glasses. That's where you're wrong. This product exists, just not with the name or the form factor that you're looking at today. The first generation version of this product is called the Apple Vision Pro. But the Vision Pro has been kind of a failure, right? Everyone around us is asking questions like, why are there no Netflix, YouTube or Spotify apps on the Vision Pro? Why would anyone spend $3,500 on this? What am I going to do with 2 hours of battery life? Oh, also, why did it look like Tim Cook was giving this speech while being held at gunpoint?
It's already been a big day, but
as you'll see in this video, this is just the curtain. The real secret lies behind, if you pull the curtains back, behind all the hoopla, the insane $3,500 price, the 4K screens, the Steve Jobs like one more thing presentation. Oh, and all these people walking around with a near guarantee of never finding love in their life since no one can actually physically interact with them anymore. There is actual pure genius, a bigger grand master plan that Apple is hiding in plain sight. And to understand the mystery behind the master plan, we have to start by understanding the crazy $3,500 price, which is the first piece of this mysterious puzzle. Okay, do you realize that Apple Vision Pro is basically maxed out on everything? I mean, it's already called the Pro. Tim Cook didn't even bother with a regular version. Overcompensate much? Okay, cameras. On most phones nowadays, they have 2 to 3, but I need 12. Okay, on the 2 screens, one for each eye, let's make them 4K and let's also add 2 more on the front so people can see each other's eyes. Yeah, I know it doubles the cost, but this is crucial. You are too young and naive to understand why, but this makes the experience human. 1 chip? That's obviously not visionary or pro. We need at least 2. 1 microphone, I think I can do it too. I mean 6. I need 6. You heard that right. We can't take a risk that it doesn't hear you. Okay, and the whole thing needs to be carved out of a single block of aluminum to make it feel premium. And what's that? Yeah, of course I know that VR headsets are made of plastic to keep the weight and the costs down. We are Apple. We make everything out of a single block of aluminum. Will it make it heavy? Yeah, no one cares, buddy. People won't mind if they get a headache and a neck pain as long as it feels premium. But you know what? This seems too much now, like too much new age tech, too Apple. So let's confuse the shit out of everyone and throw in one actual physical wire coming out of the back of your head, like we went to sleep and woke up in the early 2000s, only to find that all our cables are entangled with our clothes once again. All jokes aside, all this and more results in that insane $3,500 price tag. I mean, which consumer has that kind of money? You can buy 3 Macs, 6 iPhones or 12 AirPods for that much. You can buy a car for that much. Heck, since crypto crashed, I'm sure you can even buy a Bitcoin for that much. Wait, what? Bitcoin is still selling for $31,000? Who's even buying this stuff? As you can see, this defies normal product design and development thinking, where companies try to make trade-offs to make things both valuable but also affordable. Why would Apple charge more than double the price of its competitors for a product that does the same thing? That's crazy, right? Not quite. They've done it before, only to create the most successful smartphone in history. Wait, what? The most successful smartphone is a Nokia? It doesn't count if it is before 2010. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story. Okay, so they created the most successful phone in history, if history started in 2010. The iPhone. Let's rewind back. The year was 2007, Steve Jobs was still alive, no one could use the horrible resistive touchscreens that only touchscreen phones like the Nokia E62 and the Palm Trio had. The BlackBerry was the cool phone to have. This thing called BBM was the most popular messaging app, and to be able to use it, people had to keep creepily asking people for their impossible to remember BBM pin. But I digress. It was also the year when Steve Jobs launched the iPhone in a speech that's forever in the history books, making an entire generation of young people, including me, want to dream to become CEOs, only to almost get there and realize that in real life, there's no big launch or slides with one or two words. You only give presentations with complicated charts and numbers that everyone has seen before, and they made you edit several times. So he launched the iPhone at $500, which was priced at more than double the competing smartphones at that time, and people still lined up for hours to get it. So we've solved the mystery. This is like the iPhone launch, right? No, not really. To understand this, we need to go back further to 1983, when Apple launched its most revolutionary product that was never a commercial success. The Apple Lisa, the first computer to use a graphical user interface instead of a command prompt. Basically, this literally enabled the fact that you're able to move your mouse around on a computer right now to watch my video and subscribe to my channel, which was first developed and launched by Apple in the Apple Lisa. Before that, people just entered text using a keyboard into a black screen, and you can see why that isn't very user-friendly. Do you know what the price of the computer was in 1983? $10,000. Ouch! No prizes for guessing that it failed miserably, but it led to the success of the Apple computer with the Mac that is so well known today. And now Apple seems to be doing this again, except this time they've learned from history and they've planned for it to fail. They've only planned for 150,000 units of the Vision Pro in 2024. That's less than 1% of their revenue. They probably make more money selling their $20 polishing cloth. Basically, they don't really care about how much this sells. This release isn't about making money with a mainstream product. This is about laying the foundation for the future, creating a new category of product that takes something only used by scientists and a few tech enthusiasts and geeks like me, and slowly making it into a product like the iPhone or the iPad or the Mac that's used by people everywhere across the world. Now we get to the second reason, the second part of their master plan, which is to share their vision for augmented reality being the right way to do virtual reality with the world. Share their vision, get it? Virtual reality headsets have been coming at us thick and fast for a while now. Facebook bet their entire company on this one feature. They even changed the name of the company to Meta for Metaverse that you can experience in VR, and launched several VR headsets like the Meta Quest 1, 2, 3 and Pro. And that's going not that great. Apple has been very clear in their vision for the Vision Pro that it's not a VR headset. Vision for the Vision Pro. Did it again. They make it clear that this is augmented reality and insist we should all call it spatial computing. Though technically it is VR because you're seeing video on a screen and not through a transparent glass with some video elements. But forget the technicalities. Augmented reality or AR can easily be explained as a more consumer-friendly and more natural way to merge tech with your eyes. Isolating people from the real world and immersing them into a virtual world might be fine to watch a movie once a week or play a game from time to time, but it's a much harder sell to the everyday user. I mean, just look at this. Would you sit in this guy's Uber? We got a glimpse of great augmented reality back in 2010 with one of my favorite products from this decade, the Google Glass, which is actually really promising and probably a bit ahead of its time. Before people were used to having so much wearable technology on their bodies, I mean, understandably, no one wanted to be that creepy person with a camera on their eyes. There were so many reports of people getting beaten up whilst wearing the Google Glass, when others suddenly realized they were being filmed. After that, for a few years, augmented reality became this super weird feature on smartphones that no one really knew what to do with. So people did weird shit with it, like looking for Pokemon on their sidewalks. Not very useful. Unfortunately, Google didn't pursue the Glass, which is where their strategy fundamentally differs from Apple. They gave up after one version, but just watch the Google Moonshot CEO talk about Glass here.
We had a vision of how AR would work into people's lives, professional lives into their personal lives. The part that we got wrong was we pretended we were done when we weren't done. We started kidding ourselves and kidding the rest of the world that it was a product when it was not yet a product. And that then set expectations really high that we couldn't meet.
It's clear that they should have stuck with it. On the other hand, Apple's vision is to eventually achieve full augmented reality, and to do that it basically needs 3 secret ingredients, of which it only has one at this moment. The one which they do have, they've been the first in the industry to achieve. It's a true spatial operating system that can overlay on the real world. The problem with the Google Glass was that it wasn't very useful. It didn't harness the true potential, kind of just was, as YouTuber Tom Scott called it, a new way to hurt yourself. But Apple has actually built a spatial operating system that works. It doesn't need controllers and is instead controlled in the most natural way possible, with your eyes. MKBHD famously called it the closest thing he's seen to magic. It's also familiar, which has been a secret sauce that Apple has used to make its products wildly successful. It tends to make the look and feel and interactions with its operating systems across devices so familiar and so similar that when users try out a new product category that they've never used, like an iPhone user trying an iPad for the first time, they feel as if they already know how to use it. Oh, except with this horrible Apple Watch icon interface that makes no sense and no one really knows which app is which. So the first thing that you should do when you get a new Apple Watch is change this to the list view of apps. Sheesh. The second thing that it needs is a non-intrusive way to make this wearable feel natural. Your face and your eyes are the most personal and the most important part of your social interactions. But as you get into things that you wear on your body, it starts to get more and more personal and more intrusive. I mean, let me ask you a question. Would you be okay with putting a chip in your brain? Okay, if the thought of surgery is putting you off, what if you could swallow it instead? Still too intrusive? But the watch on your wrist is okay? It wasn't so a few years ago. It took a few generations of the Apple Watch to get people used to wearing a screen that buzzes on their wrist all the time. And as for intrusion into your privacy, yeah, you've already given that up. Just look around you at the number of cameras and microphones in your home. Between your computer, phone, smart speakers, doorbell, and God knows who else, all your ads are personalized based on your previous web history, leaks of people's photos and passwords and voice recordings and private videos and private text messages are all too common. So yeah, maybe, just maybe, your life isn't as private as you think. So, if these are the short-term problems with a Vision Pro, what's the long-term vision for it? Another vision pun, make me stop. If you want to know my long-term vision, it's basically going to be on my next video. If you want me to make one, of course, the only way I'll know is if you comment below and subscribe to my channel. But till then, there's so